It is called the Baleno, Italian for lightning, which might sound like a fancy sports car, but sadly, it isn't. To their credit, they do try to upsell it by calling it a premium hatchback. But that's like taping an iPhone to a brick and calling it a smart defense system. Anyways, some people claim that if you have 10 lakh rupees to spend, then this is the best car your money can buy. Hmm, is that so? While the rest of the world has gone entirely berserk over pretentious SUVs, which are just hatchbacks on heels claiming that they can climb the Everest, Suzuki looked at the problem and said, "I kuruma skurimaso," Japanese for "let's make a good car." I have their press release right here where they said, and I quote, "The new age Baleno, crafted with futurism design language, exudes a wider, stronger, and a more dynamic stance, building on the aesthetic liquid flow design." Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, sure, it looks better than those boxy hatches, and it even has a mature and a relaxed feeling about it. But I fail to see any futurist or innovative design over here. Its sibling, the Frongs, looks a lot better. But for me, this this doesn't justify the Nexa badge. It looks a bit round and plump, kind of like a woman's. However, there is some grace because this panda knows kung fu. Now, on paper, this produces just 88 horses, which will not sound impressive at first. But then look at the competition, which feels like they have been shot by a horse tranquilizer. This suddenly starts to shine. It even ditches the 3-cylinder shake for the 4-cylinder smoothie, which means it is going to be a lot more fun to rev and a lot more fun to drive. It revs like a puppy which has just spotted a squirrel, and now it wants to chase it with its tongue out. If you love to rev match like me, then this is going to be a proper instrument for that, because it provides that proper mechanical interface between you and the car, making it a lot more enjoyable experience. And that is really appreciated. The feedback through the steering is fairly muted. Also, it is prone to pushing out wide in the corners. But because it weighs only around 900 kilograms, it is very agile. The brakes are functional, but it requires a fair bit of travel before you get any actual bite. The suspension in this are tuned for comfort, and it does cushions the potholes physically, but audibly, it does let you know that it is in fact doing the heavy lifting. Just like an angry wife. But how is it like to live with? The portion in front of the driver looks decent with analog dials and the buttons on steering wheel, but apart from that, it all just falls apart. Everything here is a shade of grey. The dashboard, the seats, the visibility gets impacted right in the middle where the IAVM and the infotainment gets too intimate, like a teenage couple. On the other hand, it does have useful features like tinted glass or the rear AC vents, even a 360-degree camera. For a car of this size, it even has proper legroom and a boot. So basically, it is like an accounting spreadsheet. Sure, it's functional and highly efficient, but at the end of the day, what you're still looking at is a boring matrix of gray rows and columns. I have been thinking a lot about this car, about what it is and what it represents, and I think I have figured it out. Just like how a coach shows you different strategies to play with, this shows you all the possible traits a car can have. The plantedness of a sedan, the agility of a hatchback, the slight body roll in the corners like an SUV, it shows you all. And then, as you drive it more and more, you start realizing which one of these traits speaks to you the most, especially as a driver. So, yes, I agree. It is the best option to buy in its segment. Well, all except for one change.